For our last video for the MLA section, I just wanted to briefly go over how to do the formatting in Microsoft Word as well, in case you are not using Google Docs, if you're more comfortable with Microsoft or what have you. I just wanted to make sure you guys know how to do the formatting here. The same general principles apply. You want to make sure that you are referring back to OWL Purdue. Like I pointed out before, the sample paper is here on the side. If you click on it, you can kind of scroll through all of the requirements for how to properly format an MLA paper. And then I'm just going to show you the tips and tricks to how to do this in Microsoft Word. So like I said before, you want to make sure that this is in Times New Roman, size 12 font. You want it to be left aligned, and we want it to be double spaced. You'll notice here that it says we can remove a space after a paragraph. That means they are currently adding an additional space. You just want to go ahead and click on that so we are no longer seeing that extra space. Now for your header, you want to make sure that you have your first name or your full name, the name of your professor. I'm going to use Dr. Gunther. He's not a doctor. Professor Gunther as an example. He teaches in 2026. I don't know if that's an actual class, but we'll go with it. And let's say that this paper is due on the 12th of November of 2020. Then for your title, you just keep the one single line in between that extra space. Don't create any additional spaces between your header and your title. You want to center a line, and then go ahead and type out the title of your paper here. The one thing that I am currently missing is the page number. So in Word, all you want to do is come up here to this top taskbar and go to Insert. And over here, you'll see page number. You want it to be on the top of the page. And we want it to be over on the side here. I don't know why they weren't showing that in the picture. And then you just add your last name to the left of it and make sure that your font is correct. We want it in Times New Roman down here at the bottom, and we want it to be in a size 12 font. So that's how you do the first part of your page. Then after here, again, just one enter, don't create additional spaces, left align, and now you can start typing your paper. As I said before, if you are wanting to do any sort of citation, you want to make sure that you are putting it properly citing it within your paper. So if we say, now let's include a quote here, after the quotation mark, do a parentheses, name, number, parentheses, period. In MLA, if you have any quote that is for prose any longer than 4 lines, so this is if you are pulling straight out of the main text of a book, you know, some kind of description, and it goes over 4 lines of written space on your paper, what you want to do is called a block quote. Or if you're doing any sort of poetry, play, that kind of thing, any verse, anything that's more than 3 lines, then it's called a block quote. So let me just scroll down. I'm just going to take a section here from my sample paper just to give you an example of what this would look like. So now we want to introduce the quote, do a colon which is those 2 dots, enter. I'm just going to paste my little quote here. Then you want to go ahead and highlight this, and let's go ahead and just right click on your mouse because you'll come down to paragraph. And all we want to do is left indent by 1/2 inch. Hit OK. Then right here after the period, not before the period, is where you'll do the citation. So because I pulled this straight from my paper, I just went ahead and said that the citation is by me with a the page number. Make sure you're doing the citation properly for whatever quote you're wanting to do. Now that that is all done, let's say we are completely done with our paper, we have written our conclusion, and we need to create our works cited page. The fastest way for you, rather than hitting enter until you get to the new page, if you want to hit Control Enter on your keyboard, that will automatically start a new page for you. Then at the very top, center a line, and this page is called your works cited page. And this is where you will enter your citations. I'm going to just come down here and copy one of my citations so I can show you how we formatted this. Okay, so when you type out your citation, it's probably going to look like this because you're just going to go from one line to the next really simply. Go ahead and type out all of your full citations, because then what you can do is you'll be able to highlight all of the citations at once instead of doing them one by one. And then you just want to, same thing, right click on your mouse, come down to paragraph, and change the special drop down to hanging. It's by 1/2 inch, and that will leave the first line completely left aligned and every following line indented from the left by 1/2 inch. So your page ends up looking something like this once you have had all of your citations put in. Sorry. If you have any confusion about this and you're still not really sure, just make sure you're constantly referencing back to this OWL Purdue, because they do a really good job in these blue and green of explaining how to properly format your paper. When it comes to quotations, you can definitely come over here and read the MLA formatting quotations to make sure you are doing it correctly. Now I'm just going to kind of scroll back up. I want to delete all the work we just did because I want to show you the sample paper I have already written. So this is a paper that I actually wrote for one of my English classes 5 years ago. You'll kind of see, we have the header. It has my name, my professor's name, the name of the course, and then whatever the due date was for this paper. You see up here with the page number, I do have my last name, and then I have the title with no extra spaces here in between. As we went over in the in-text citation, for any circumstances where you do not have the author's name, in this case, I was referencing the introduction to a section about him where I knew one of the editors of the book had written this introduction, but I didn't know which editor. So all I did was just cited it by the title of the introduction that I was citing, as well as whatever page number it came from. As you kind of scroll down, you'll see here in this particular case, because I have now, in this particular work, I cited multiple works by Dante Alighieri. Since I have multiple citations by Alighieri, I had to specify which specific work I was citing by including the title. You can see this down here in my works cited as well, that I had 2 Alighieri, so I needed to specify whether I was quoting the Banquet of Dante Alighieri or if I was quoting Inferno. Now, just to kind of scroll back up, in that case, because I was just kind of talking more generally about what the entire work was. I didn't have to include a specific page number. But when I get down into this next paragraph and I'm talking about specific parts that I'm paraphrasing or quoting, then it's the last name of the author followed by the page number. And then down here, when I quote Martin Luther, because it is a long quote, it's 6 different bullet points from his 95 Theses, then I did it as a block quote, moved it all in, and quoted Luther here at the bottom. The reason it looks the way that it does is because for the particular book, which is this Western Societies, a Documentary History, the book did not include the full 95 theses. It only included a specific set of the theses he wrote. So I did the quote exactly as it was written in that particular book that I was reading. And you can tell that from my citation down here. Everything else should be things that we have already covered. If you have any questions, make sure that you are going back, checking out OWL Purdue, or you can always come into the library and ask for more help.